Yes. How to read and write the data from the Excel document. So basically, in the last session, we discussed about one thing regarding how to read the Excel document. What are all the things required in order to configure into our project? We have two types of documents. One is .xls document, and second one is .xlsx document. This xls document will be handled by using .jxl library, or we can use Apache POI library. Apache POI library. But .xlsx file can be handled by using Apache POI library only. We can't use JXL library to handle .xlsx format. .xlsx format. The next thing, here I am saying how to read and how to write the data from the Excel document. First, we'll talk about the first portion, how to read the data from the Excel document, and then we'll talk about the second portion, how to write the data from the Excel document. So okay, so first let me discuss about what is this Excel document. So as I have created one document which is nothing but test data.xls. So just I am going to have few modifications in that. For our reference, I'm going to create one more Excel document to understand it very clearly. Okay, let me take this column as username and this column as password only. First, this is nothing but ABC, DEF. Just I am giving some normal data. I am not giving any valid data or valid user, or else we can go with user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. So 4 users is fine. Test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4 are the 4 passwords where I'm going to save this file on my desktop. So with the format XLS. So this would be the name. Just I'm going to give test1.xls. Text1.xls. So I have prepared the file. Now, what is the first thing that you need to perform in order to get the file, in order to read the data in the file? Here, the first step that you need to perform here is first access the file from your local system. How to access the file? The file can be accessed by using the path of that particular file where you have been stored. I am going to capture the path. So this is the test one. I'm going to capture the path along with test1.xls is the file name. I'm going to use the same path here. File path is equals to my file path here is this one, slash test1.xls. This is my file. I'm going to read the file. Before reading the file, I am going to consider this as a string. I'm going to consider this as a string. So to consider this as a string, into this file path variable, I'm going to pass the data where I have been saved in the folder. Generally, in our representation, if we are providing path means we should mention the slashes, double slash like this anywhere, not only here. Remember this point. If you are providing path means we need to provide the slashes like this. Once we have this file path, next thing is we need to open the file. We need to load the file. To load or open the file, the next keyword we are going to use is file input stream. For this file input stream object also, I am going to use one object name, which is nothing but files stream. We can use file stream is equals to new file input stream. From where this particular input stream loads the file means from the file path. Now the file has been loaded. Once the file has been loaded, we need to access the workbook in that particular Excel document. So what is that means here is workbook. I'm going to use the name work is equals to workbook dot get workbook of file stream. Workbook has been opened. Now the next thing that you need to do here is you need to access the sheets. We know that every Excel document by default having 3 sheets: sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3. I am going to access the sheet now. Sheet just she is equals to from the workbook. What is the workbook name here? Work dot get sheet of 0, because it starts, the index starts with 0. If your if your workbook is having, Excel workbook is having second sheet, if you want to access the second sheet, then you can provide the name like this, object like this: sheet she1 is equals to work dot get sheet of 1. You can provide it like this, but currently I have the data only in the sheet 1, right? Index number 0. So that is the reason I have mentioned only this one. Okay, now my job is to read the data present inside the cell. How to read the data present inside the cell? How to read the data present inside the cell? So the data inside the cell may be numerics or alphabets or alphanumerics or group of characters. So that is the reason I am going to consider that cell as a string cell get content. So whatever the content that we have in that particular cell, I want to get that content. Cell get content is equals to, what is the sheet name? She dot get cell of 0, 0, row and column dot get contents. Done. I want to print this output: system dot out dot println. The values will be cell get content. Cell get content. Now one portion of data has been read. One portion of the data has been read. Now we need to write the program based on this. Let us start writing the program based on this so that you'll be able to understand what needs to be done there. This is just a brief content how we are going to access the data from the Excel document. Do you have any questions in this? Do you have any questions in this?
No.
Till now good, right? How we are
Yes.
going to access
Hello.
the data and how we are going to open the, yep, tell me.
Yeah, so it is only for one cell. Get cell 0, 0 means um,
Yes, only one cell, but I have to write the for loop. I'm going to write that for loop in the programmatic part. This is just an introduction or recap how we are going to open the file and how we are going to load the file and how we are going to access the sheet and how we are going to access the cell content. That's it. So just for
okay.
understanding purpose, because the last session maybe you understood or not, I don't know. So that is the reason I am giving recap for all these things so that I can have this program through Eclipse. I'm going to write this program now.
Okay. Yeah, so get
Okay.
cell 0, 0 is row and columns. Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
exactly. The Eclipse has been opened. Just to avoid the confusion, I'm going to delete this one. I'm creating new class file. Read, write data. So class has been created. Now the first step will be public void read Excel is my method name. So we know that we need to have this file path. So where is the file path? This one. I'm going to copy this one. File path has been loaded. The next step is load the file path. So up to here, I'm going to access this one directly. For file input stream, I need to import the statement. For workbook, I need to import the statement. For sheet, also I need to import the statement. For get sheet, this I am going to mention the sheet name here, sheet 1. We'll see. But up to sheet we have been opened. Now I am going to calculate total number of rows is equals to, sorry, it's she dot get rows. It's she dot get rows semicolon and then int total number of columns is equals to sheet dot get columns. I'm going to get the columns. Now I'm going to write the for loop. For integer row is equals to 0, row less than total number of rows, row plus plus. Inside the loop, I'm going to read the column now. For int column starts with 0, column less than total number of columns, semicolon, column plus plus. Row and column has been read now. I'm going to print the statement. System dot out dot println. We are printing the sheet, right? She dot get cell of call comma row dot get contents. I'll let you know what is meant by slash t here. Again, I'm going to give for a reference. System dot out dot println. It will print the row value. Now I'm going to start main method. Public static void main of string args. Read Excel file data is equals to new read Excel file. I have created one object and passing the data dot. So here here we can say data dot read Excel. So I have designed this thing. Oh, it is asking to give, sorry. Here we need to provide the class name because read write data. We are returning the data from this class only. So that is the reason we need to provide this one. Object. What is this one? So this is the basic program how to read and how to write the data from the Excel document. Here you are seeing some errors, but no need to worry about these errors. These errors are because of the libraries what we have been configured. So here these libraries can be ignored if we want to execute the same script in our environment, because as I have been configured with .xls, because I don't have .xlsx format in my system. So that is the reason I have created .xls file to create this XLS file environment, we need to have JXL library in our system. So to get that JXL library into our system, so we need to have that one. I haven't configured, right? So that is the reason we are getting error. But let us have that .jxl library and we'll see. Nothing I have written in this program. Just first I have accessed the file path and then loaded the file and then opened the workbook. Once I opened the workbook, I have accessed the sheet and then I have counted total number of rows, total number of columns in the Excel document. Once the total number of rows and columns has been encountered, then next step I have started with one for loop. This for loop is for how to read the data or how to get the data in the row format. Once this row format data has been satisfied with the condition what we have mentioned here, it will enter into this loop. In this loop, it is going to read the data. It is going to read the data from the columns. Once the columns has been ready for our environment, then I'm going to print the data from row as well as columns by using this statement. So rows and columns data has been executed based on this statement, but I have been used /t here. What is meant by /t? /t means in our Excel document, we have two columns. If you want to have the data separately into different columns in the output, /t will be helpful for that particular output statement. So that is the reason I have been mentioned with this /t. This particular statement is how to get the cell, how to get the column and row value for this loop, and then this statement will be used for entire loop. That is the reason I have mentioned system.out.println. After that, I am going to call main method with the return data. So read the data, give the output, read the data, give the output, like that. So that is the reason I have mentioned the class file name here to read the Excel file. To read the Excel file. This is just a simple thing what we have been done here, but nothing more complexity or this program. So any questions in this program? Any questions in this program?